a very warm welcome, Jiayanu, to our program, Educate to Save. The Educate to Save scheme is about the sponsorship of children from poor backgrounds. Sangat ji, the whole scheme is all about value-based education. Value-based education is the combination of Gurmat education and the normal school syllabus, which we call value-based education. It's the gift of Sikhi. The Akal Academies, the heritage, is founded by Sant Baba Atar Singh Ji Mastowale. A unique personality, a unique human being whose gift is not quite well understood by the Sikh community. Babaji even set up a vocational college in very early 1900s, when even in the West or anywhere in the world, nobody has thought about vocational education. Schools were seen as the gurdwaras. The children coming out of that were seen as the saints who will help improve humanity's lifestyles. We will start as usual with the background to the schools, but let me first introduce my panel of guests who are here and our trustee. To all of you first, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Kiran, can you introduce yourself, please?
Of course. So my name is Kiran Kaur. I'm currently doing my A-levels and studying at Guru Nanak Sikh Academy 6th form. Me and Ashmeet are currently volunteering with the Kalgidhar Trust, and what we're doing is working on the Khalsa Cup initiative, and we'll speak more about that later.
Ashmeet?
I'm Ashmeet Singh. I'm also studying for my A-levels in Year 12 at Greenfield High School. Like Ken said, we're working toward the Khalsa Cup initiative, which we'll speak more about later on. But we're also volunteering for the Kalgidhar Trust.
Thank you. On my very far right is my colleague, our trustee, Ranbir Singh Jiatwal, a familiar face on Sangat television, who knows the background and history of Akal Academies. Virji, perhaps we can dwell a little on the scheme to start off with, on the Educate to scheme on television as far as our appeal goes, if you would like to say a few words on that.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji Ki
Fateh. Sangat, Guru Pyari, Guru Roop Sat Sangat Ji. This is our eighth program on this scheme, Educate to Save. As you all know, I think until now we have discussed various things, and you are fully aware that this mission we're talking about, the Kalgidhar Trust, is a great mission. And the targets are huge as well, and they're trying to tackle a very big problem in Punjab. The lack of education is the biggest problem at the moment within the Sikh community, and generally in the world, in the current society. When we talk about value-based education, broad-minded education, you don't need to have a tunnel vision. I think when we talk about values, purely monetary values, that in itself is a very damaging tunnel vision. When we talk about values, social values, values to do with your faith, religion, these are supposed to be generally broad-based values. That's the sense of logistic, the gist of Sikh faith. And we've seen the battles being fought and all the communities fighting over religions. And we have seen even in India for 700 years there's a horrific history of conversions, both from Hinduism to Muslim conversions, and the dictators
And the
used
arrival of the Christians.
and the same thing, and dictator used every possible mean and weapon and cruelty. But to break away from this tradition, what Guru Nanak Dev Ji introduced was, we don't need conversions, we need educating people. I think the common denominator, the whole mission we are talking about here is about what is the common denominator in the society. The common denominator in the society is first to become a human being.
Virji, Babaji clearly says on that for a minority to survive, you need quality.
That's right.
And I think sometimes we fail to recognize the fact that, hey, we NRIs, non-resident Indian Sikhs, I think we are doing very well in America, in Canada, and rest of the world, in Europe. But 90% of the Sikhs still live in the Punjab. And the quality of education there is very poor. And the tool for quality, the first step for quality improvement is education. Now, can you comment on that, about the state of affairs in Punjab, the poor quality of education, and why Sadh Sangat support so far has been wonderful? I think we are fortunate that over the last 7-8 weeks, we have managed, with the support of Sadh Sangat, they have come in full-fledged. We have sponsored almost about 70-80 students already. Yeah. And there's a lot of work in progress. Can you comment about why it is important for us to educate Punjab?
The education standards and levels in Punjab, they have actually fallen now below acceptable standards, or below any norm you can think about. Because my first 13 years of my childhood I spent in Punjab, went to the local government school and have seen the education. At one point, Punjab used to be number 1 state in education in India, and now it has slipped to number 12 or 13. And the most, I think, worrying thing about Punjab, and which every NRI should be worried, and one of the common problem with us is, I think, Sikhs being Sikhs, always accepting everybody as a human being, and wherever they went, they basically settled in the mainstream in that country, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the side effect of that has been that the Punjab
has been ignored.
So it's a big thing. If you look at other communities, their roots in terms of their attachment to their own community, because Guru Nanak Dev Ji taught us there are no boundaries. We are global citizens. We always think globally, outside the box. So that is one of the reasons why the Sikhs who left Punjab, they settled in every country, like the citizens of that country, like the mainstream population of that country. They always think this is also our country. So that is a big positive for Sikhs. Wherever they settled, they're enjoying the wealth and lifestyles, and still practicing Sikhi. But the downside of that is that Punjab has suffered to a great deal.
See, that, Kiran, a very important point Virji has said about the quality of education in Punjab. In 1970, Punjab was number 1 as far as education was concerned. Today, I think it's around 15 or 18.
Yeah, slipping.
It's slipping. Now, what's your feeling as a youngster receiving virtually value-based quality education here? What are your feelings for Punjab? And your appeal to Sadh Sangat, for their help and plea in supporting the education there. What's your concern?
Okay, so I'm grateful to have like an education in like United Kingdom, where I'm given free education like 5 times a week, and then tuition as well. And there's like open libraries. We have amazing resources in this country, and I think everyone should deserve that, because with an education you get so far in life. Like without an education, there's only so far you can go. So I think it's like it should be a human right to have an education, and if somebody doesn't have an education, that's like you're taking away their right to like progress in life. And I think everybody in Punjab should be given the right to have an education.
Kiran just mentioned something about receiving free education and all the facilities in a developed country. But Punjab has got a free education system, but it's badly run. In a school, you get about 2 teachers coming, or the other one absent, or the third one not being there at all, but is part of on the payroll. What sort of children is that sort of school? Free education. Punjab, I think, has been a victim of free education, so-called free education. And the Kal academies are addressing that. Have you got some comments on that?
I think it's all part of the brain drain. So I think if many of you who don't know, the brain drain is where a country gets a group of educated people, and all the educated, successful people move out to different countries to get a better life, and the country that they come from is left in a bad state. I think that's what's happened as well in Punjab, where the people who have the quality education, who have the skills, they've left Punjab for a better life and better opportunities elsewhere, and we left Punjab behind.
So you're saying those, where we are saying in the 70s, Punjab was number 1 in education. I think your theory is quite right, that a lot of them are sitting in America, in Europe, in Australia, in Singapore, Malaysia. So Punjab itself, nobody has, as Veerji said earlier, Punjab has been ignored. And the Akal Academy initiative, how do you comment on that in terms of, is it a positive step in the right direction?
So we've identified the problem that the brain drain, all the skills are leaving. I think the Kalgidar Trust on the initiative, it's actually making a better change by putting the skills back in, by giving people the time, opportunity to help contribute back to what they've come from, to help bring that place back up. And I think it's great because even people like me and Kieran, we're still studying, but the fact that obviously we may not be able to go to Punjab ourselves, but we're giving our time and effort indirectly to help bring a change from somewhere that we're really connected to, have a lot of heritage, a lot of culture, a lot of background. It's really important that we're doing that. Obviously, it makes sense. Not all of us can actually go to Punjab and physically help out. But if we can give our time, our daswand, sponsoring a child, giving that child an education, giving initiatives for teachers. I know we were discussing earlier how the quality of teaching is on par with Cambridge professors and teachers. So we're not giving them education, we're giving them the best shot, the best opportunity of education. So the fact that we're giving them that, is probably the best answer.
Gee, as far as Akal academies are concerned, there's not total free education. The statement I made earlier, I think Punjab has been the victim of free education. And often the community sometimes feels that we should be giving free education. But I know that almost 80% of our students actually pay fees. And then you got about another 10% or so, they are paying subsidized fees, and there's another 10% who are paying nothing. Have you got any comments on that at all for the benefit of South Sangat?
I think Ishmit has nearly hit the problem rightly, and he mentioned about brain drain. That is one of the issues, but then obviously the state policy and the central government policy, I think they're using the excuse of Punjab being a border state, which I think is a lame excuse when you look at Israel, which is maybe the size of Punjab, and how they're doing
progressive.
So that is a very unacceptable excuse. And when you talk about free education, yes, there is free education only on papers. There's a huge budget state government may be spending on government schools, but when you see the result is, I have seen it myself, I've experienced it. It's completely hopeless. None of the Punjab students from government free schools are capable of competing with any other school anywhere in India. So that is basically killing their future. So what kind of education is that? And to break away from that practice. Kalgita Trust, as I said, is a great initiative, and education, a quality education, especially a value-based education where there's an extra effort involved in terms of extra school time, extra curriculum, and extra teachers. It costs. Everything costs, especially when you set up schools in rural areas. The rural areas, no teacher. I mean, obviously, they also recruited teachers from the most educated state, Kerala, South India. So when it comes to education, then you don't compromise whether the teachers should be Sikhs or they should belong to any particular community, because that would be wrong. That will basically miscarry the whole project. So they had to get teachers from South India because obviously no quality teachers available in Punjab, and then they had to put them into rural areas. I mean, the odds are so much against this project, and that's why I think, as I mentioned, it's a great mission. The target is big and difficult, and that's why we are here. This is the 8th week we are here, basically appealing that every NRI has a moral obligation. They have left behind a great mess, and they should. I personally feel the blame for when I go and see my village, and I see the children suffering, and when I see their education level. So I feel guilty that I have a responsibility to give something back to the village where I was born, to the community which is my community.
But it's a shame, where 1970 you are number one, and today you are nowhere. And as you rightly said, there's a very small percentage of Punjab schools which meets the national average. I think it's only about 5 or 6%.
And that percentage is purely driven by the bright students. Some students, they are self-motivating, very intuitive. They don't need good teachers, they need good books, and they can basically achieve good results. We're talking about just top 3 to 4%.
We had a very interesting discussion about 2 weeks ago with our colleagues from Kalgita Trust. One a lawyer and the other one a tax director, and we were saying how even in other states of India where Kal academies have been set up, they have raised the benchmark of education. They have raised the standards of education, and we know at the moment when we receive the results of at least those students that we have sponsored, how well they are doing, and when overall annual results are achieved, students at Muksa are achieving 97, 98%. And when you see them or hear them conduct themselves both in Punjabi and in English, you say, wow, in Muksa Sahib, there's not even an accent. This is year 10 students and 10 plus 2 students. How remarkable. Kiran, you got 3 sisters who went to Baru Sahib for education.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel that their education was inferior from here, or you thought they were doing well? Oh, great.
Definitely not. They were they were excelling with what they're doing right now, and I think the fact that they went to Baru Sahib didn't hinder them at all. Like, the education was on par with the English system.
So the beauty was they had value-based system at the same time.
Yeah.
That helps improve their life, how they conduct themselves in this human life when they sort of graduate and when they go to work, and how they perform. It's very interesting that I received a WhatsApp about 2 or 3 days ago about a man, Mr. Barar in America. He's about 105 years old. He works in a farm. He only migrated to America when he was about 68 years of age. And when the local national security or pension fund started interviewing him, they said, we want to put you onto the pension scheme. He said, no, I don't need a pension. I still can work. I want to work. And he has been working ever since 1980s. Now that, and he was in the Indian Army and with a Sikh heritage. Now that is values. He said, I got to work, I'm fit. Nobody need to feed me, I want to feed myself. I'll be healthy till I keep on working. I thought that was quite unique. Ishmeet, I mean, how do you see that sort of value where you don't want to be dependent on anybody else?
I think it just goes to show the power of education. Because when you have education, you're not dependent on anyone. You stand on your own feet. You do things to your own accord. And I think just to add on to what Angadi said here, that we all have responsibility to clean up the mess that we left. That the fact that the conditions are so bad, the education's gone down, people are becoming dependent on each other to a point where they're dependent on drugs and whatnot. And I think any of us who've ever moaned or felt bad or anything about the situation in Punjab about drugs and youth and children going down the wrong path, I think the instant response to that should be to pick up the phone and sponsor a child. Because by sponsoring a child or giving them an education, we're making sure they don't go down that route. The fact that they lift themselves up, they lift society up, they're independent, they can set an example, be a role model for society. And I think that's what the importance of education does. It helps build a society, helps build you as a person first of all. And the fact that we don't have education makes all these problems arise. So it really does go to show how not just education but value-based education is so important, because everyone can get education. We see in our schools there are people that get the best education but don't appreciate it. They still go down the wrong path. It's because the values are missing. But with the Kalgidar Trust, the education that we give in the Kal academies is value-based, with Gursikh values, sharing, living towards not just for yourself but for others, humanity, trying to serve, put others before yourself. And I think that's the thing that really sets a good society aside from a generic society or something that's just running.
Yeah, and the fact that they come from poorer places, so when you give them an education, they will appreciate it. Unlike some people we know that don't appreciate their education, the fact is when you give these people who don't have an education, they will be so grateful that they'll pay back, and they will not waste like what's given to them.
Now, it's interesting the point you guys made. We all know that Punjab was drowning in drugs, in alcohol, poor quality education. Virji, Babaji is virtually with this vision, Sant Baba Athar Singh Ji, Sant Baba Teja Singh Ji, and the mission really taking across the hurdles is Sant Baba Iqbal Singh. You see that he is placing barriers for drugs and alcohol and all the other abuses in the Punjab through quality education. Can you comment on that, please?
Babaji is now 96 years old. It's miraculous that he has put everything in place. If we need 5 new schools, we can have those. If our Kal Academy students, they're already competing internationally. So the quality of education is second to none. And the needed universities, now nearly 3 universities in place. The biggest constraint is the finance at the moment. So if there's a shortage of teachers, then they had a train a teacher project, and the girls specifically who left school at the age of after maybe 8th standard or 10th standard, so those were taken back into the training schemes at Badusab, and they were trained for 3, 4, 5 year different teaching courses, and they were put back into all the academies. So that's why I think we need to stress this point again and again, that this is a great mission, a great organization. Every Sikh Jathebandi, every Sikh organization should support Babaji. You know, he's been given Shromani Panth Ratna Award for his services, and those services you can't even think in a dream that a person can achieve in his lifetime, especially when he went through the education up to MSc agriculture level, then did a proper service throughout his life, and after retirement, starting with 5 children, and now with 70,000 children, And recently, a new academy was inaugurated, 131st.
Yes.
So there is, I mean, they had a little break because of this
Kashi.
the Akal University project, which in itself was like 80 million pounds, nearly 500 crore rupees project. So they had to stop at 130 schools, and now they started again. 131 was done last month. So there's about another 20 land donations which they can add whenever. So the biggest constraint is financial constraints. So in addition to sponsoring the children, we can make general donations to the organizations, and we can train a teacher. We can fund higher education of the bright children who are leaving these schools. So I would appeal to all NRIs and all Sikh Sangat worldwide that they should go on to Badu Sahib website. It's www.badusahib.org, and have in-depth awareness and a view of the organization, what they've achieved, what they're doing, and somehow whenever they go, I think they should make it a point to visit at least Guru Ki Kashi Akal University, which is in Punjab, next to Damdama Sahib Takht,
Yeah.
and Badu
or a
Sahib, the
school.
headquarters.
Or even a school, which probably is no more than an hour for any NRI Punjabi.
That's
Most of the
right, yeah,
schools
they're
are so
all
close. They
the
can
academies
visit.
are spread all over Punjab, and yes, they can visit the local academy, local school, talk to the principal, and then principal will tell you. Each principal maybe have a list of at least 100 people in the waiting. Those 100 children who cannot afford their school fees, and their families are all like mostly Amritari families. So it's a big problem for our community, and I think we should all
Yeah.
participate in this.
Yeah.
And a major part of our this one should go towards this project. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Punjab actually is in crisis, and any step that we take has to start with schooling in correcting all the problems of Punjab. The first step is school, and schools, as you rightly said, need funding.
Yeah.
Now, for funding, we even here for the sponsorship of children, we are trying to, with the appeal to Sadh Sangat, through our educate2save.com website, it is an appeal for funds. But now we are again delighted, really, a big thank you to the youth for coming on board, sharing your points of views at the age of 16, 17, Sadh Sangatji, telling us of their concerns, because some of us may be disappearing soon, but they got 60, 70 years ahead of them. They want to see a successful Punjab, Punjab that was back to perhaps the 1970 quality of education. Babaji has sown the seed. Bij ਦਿੱਤਾ ਵਾ. They want to reap the benefits of a successful brotherhood around the world. And Sadh Sangatji, the youngsters are working very hard on an initiative which you will hear about. You've been hearing on television about the Khalsa Cup initiative. Now, this is going to be in North London. The whole idea is to raise funds through a junior initiative of children under 10 years of age and those over 18. We missed the middle gap because of exams due soon in May and June. But this group here, they have their exams in May and June, but they're here giving their time towards this initiative. It takes hours and hours of work every week. There's 25 of them, and they are giving us time and efforts. Amongst them, we have Sikh children, we have Muslim children, we have Hindu children, we have English, we have Welsh, we have Scots who have come on board to help to reboot Punjab. Kiran, how do you feel about being part of this? How do you feel it? How do you inspire yourself?
So for myself, I don't know if I'm going to live 70 years. You'll never know. I could, who knows, hopefully not, but I could die tomorrow. And the fact is, you want to help as many people as you can while you're here, because that way they can help other people and that you can get like a better life. It sounds kind of cheesy, but if we all help each other, then we'll all be happy, you know? And so what we're doing is the Khalsa Cup initiative. So what it is a tournament where they will be playing like a five-a-side tournament, I think it is. And we've booked out the whole of the Austerley venue and we're expecting lots of people to be there. And the thing is, you can be there too. And the whole point is how they were saying how there's a lack of money. Like, there is money, but we need to get more, definitely, to sponsor more children. So that way what we're doing is the tournament, and what you can do is sponsor a child when you come, or you can put forward a team, of course.
Ashmit, what's your role in, I know it's quite a task with all the team. What's your task? What's your role in the cup?
So my role is volunteer coordinator, which means that I watch over all the teams and all the volunteers, make sure they're living up to what they promised, they said they're going to do, also push them to get the best out of them, manage and look over the admin work of the small admin work of the teams, and report back to obviously the seniors to make sure everything's going well. So basically the bridge between the volunteers and the managing team.
No, that's wonderful. Virji, one of the things about Khalsa Cup, the feedback I'm getting, we got some wonderful response from most of the national schools, that when it gets down to the Sikh schools, the response has been very weak, very poor. What's your appeal to Sadh Sangat, to the leadership teams of the schools, that, you know, like you actively appealed earlier to all Sikh institutions, NRIs and others, to support this initiative?
I think this is very difficult to justify this. This clearly shows how disintegrated our community is. We are trying our best to motivate people to basically, you know, be part of this noble cause, and we are basically looking at their hobbies, interest, and whichever direct or indirect way we can get them involved. So football is a big craze in this country.
It's the culture of the nation.
Yes, culture of this country, and this is amazing. You know, how media promotes football, and look at such a the biggest industry in this country. So whichever hobbies you have, whichever interests you have, I think you can, through those hobbies and interests, get together and through the networking join this wonderful initiative. And why our Sikh faith schools are not that responsive is a mystery for me. And I would appeal to them as well, that there is a great cause behind this. It's a common cause. It doesn't belong to any one organization. It belongs to the entire Sikh community. And it says Khalsa Cup, and that is for Khalsa Panth. Khalsa Panth is always welcoming every community into their overall goals and initiatives, and all Sikh faith schools should take part in this. And then I think we should maybe approach them again, and then hopefully let's see if we
persistent.
I think you're absolutely right. The appeal is to Sadh Sangat and those who are actively involved in, especially I think when we're looking at, there's about 3 schools in our catchment area here. One is the Nishkam school, then we got our Norwood Green
Khalsa Primary School.
Khalsa Primary School, and then our flagship school in Hayes, Guru Nanak School. I think it'll be good to see.
Let me tell you, the problem of our community is is a very hard fact. If a student is going into even Akal academies, how many parents would be saying, "Oh, I want my son or my daughter to be like Sant Atar Singh Ji Maharaj"? How many parents would be saying that, "Oh, I want my son to follow Sant Teja Singh Ji or Baba Iqbal Singh Ji"? They still want their children to be doctors, engineers.
Yeah, for the money.
Yeah, money is still our primary motive,
and
that is the root cause of all Sikh problems.
But the Akal Academy schools are not saying that, you know, you become a priest or you become a Gyani. They are saying, hey, take these values, be a good doctor, be a good engineer. That is the whole idea. Be a good technocrat where, like this guy we were talking about, 105 years of age, he's a retired army person. He refused to milk. He said, "I've not paid anything to America.
Yeah.
Why should I deserve a pension from you? I want to work and earn." The pride, the dignity that he has, and the whole community. There was no Sikh there. He's the only Sikh. The whole American community came together to celebrate this man's 105 birthday. For God's sake, I think this is what the gift of Baba Iqbal Singh Ji is, Sant Baba Teja Singh, Sant Baba Atar Singh, that take these on board. I mean, Sadh Sangat may not know the gift of this organization. Now, I'm told that, reading the information that Sant Baba Atar Singh Ji prepared, the leaders, the Sikh leaders who were freedom fighters, Master Tara Singh, Khan Singh Nabha was at Babaji's funeral. Top scholars were there. This is the gift of Akal Academies. This is the gift of Kalgita Trust. In shaping the whole, where did suddenly you started the Akali Lair, suddenly educated people came forth? The vision was already seen by Sant Baba Atar Singh Ji much earlier, that such quality of people will be needed. And this is exactly, I think, at the moment, Sant Baba Iqbal Singh Ji know the world need a different sort of population which can look after entire humanity. Times are coming when, like Khalsa Aid, they're all over the place. Who is backing them? Not a government. It's through our charities, through our appeals to Sadh Sangat. Is that the Khalsa spirit that is taking us there? Kiran, how do you feel about some of these initiatives, that Sadh Sangat should really come up in big force?
Yeah.
What's your appeal?
So I myself, I'm not just working with for the Khalsa Cup initiative. I have actually with Khalsa Aid climbed Mount Snowdon, and this was, I think, in year 9. And the fact is, you've got to, in your children, you've got to put you've got to instill seva into them, so that they don't just do it because of the fact that, I don't know, everyone else is doing it, but because they want to and they enjoy it. You need to make them, not make them, but the fact is, you've got to be the role model. So if you do it yourself, your children will too. You should never expect them to do something if you haven't done it yourself.
We'll take a short pause, because I think we should show a video which very clearly shows the success stories of Akal Academies. Sadh Sangat Ji, it gives you a very clear view of the achievements, which makes us very proud. And those of you who have sponsored children over the last, especially 7-8 weeks, you can see where your money is going.
मानस की जात सब एक है पहचान बो गुरबाणी ते इस फरमान दा ओट आसरा लेंदियां सिੱਖੀ ਦੀ ਸੁਗੰਧ ਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਘਰ ਪਹੁੰਚਾਉਂਦਿਆਂ ਅਕਾਲ ਅਕੈਡਮੀ ਮੰਡੇਡ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦਾਖਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਅਮਰਜੀਤ ਕੁਮਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਬਿਹਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਲੋਂਗ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਅਮਰਜੀਤ ਦੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਹਾਰਡਲੀ 250 ਰੁਪਏ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਚ ਕਮਾ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਔਰ ਕਦੀ-ਕਦੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਨਸੀਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ। His father is hardly able to take care of the basic needs of the family. But amidst all these challenges, his family is really happy witnessing that their son Amarjit Kumar is getting good value-based education in Akal Academy, that too free of cost.
वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह. My name is Amarjit Kumar. I read in 2nd A class. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. My father name is Bedosani. My mother name is Rekha Devi. I like lady finger. My favorite cartoon is Motu Patlu. I love to play football.
सर जी हम मजदूरी करते हैं, हम सिर्फ कमाने वाले अकेले हैं सर जी, और 4 बच्चे हैं। 250 रुपये की मजदूरी है हमारा, कभी मिलता है कभी नहीं मिलता है सर जी। और हमारा बच्चा एकेडमी में पढ़ाते हैं फ्री में आप लोगों का मदद से, और यही बहुत मेहरबानी होगा।
While we enjoy a lot of privileges in our lives, we must pause and think about the underprivileged. While I think about them, I feel the best support that we can offer them is educate their children. To sponsor the education of this child, you can either contact through the numbers or the website given on the screen. Always remember, your one good deed can change somebody's life.
वेलकम बैक साथ संगत जी। मानव की जात एक पहचान है। The Sikh values of the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man. One in all in one. वो सारा मिच वसदा। अशमीत सिंह जी, with the Khalsa Cup, I think we are honored and privileged that we have people from other communities helping us, just like what we show. We are helping somebody, but you must be delighted that you have from your school and other schools people your age who are supporting us. I mean, how do you feel about it?
It's very motivational, very inspirational, really, because when we were going around recruiting volunteers, people who were interested, more than our own Punjabi community or Sikh community, people from different faiths came forward. We had a Muslim girl, Zara. We had several Nepalese people. We have people from the Tamil community. We have people from the black community as well. We have a range of people from different communities coming together, working towards one cause. Although it is a Sikh charity, one thing that really stood out to me was one of them did say that charity does not have a religion. And that's something that really stays with me. The fact that anything we do, anything good that we don't do it under title of this is a Sikh charity or this is a Muslim charity or doing this for this initiative. We do it for humanity. We do it for humanity. We do it to make the world a better place. And I think that through the Khalsa Cup, it's a modern initiative, a way which gets a lot of people involved in different communities. Like I said, it's something that's very popular in this country as well. So we get people from different backgrounds, adults, children, even toddlers, even people younger than that. We've got people from different ages coming together, working towards this cause.
You were saying something about a rich country and some percentage of donations. Can you elaborate on that, please?
So I was reading this article the other day, and I think in it said that if you're reading this article and you're living in this country, you are amongst approximately 2 or 3% of the world's richest people. Sometimes it might not seem that way. Sometimes we have financial struggles and whatnot, but we have to understand that compared to the world, relative to the world, we are living such a luxurious life. Even in the video it did say we live many privileges, but it's time to think about the underprivileged as well. And in the video at the end, it did say it's about £300 to sponsor a child, and it might seem like a lot for someone in a big bulk, but if you split it up with monthly donations or weekly donations, it breaks down to very small amounts which we won't even realize leaving our pockets. And I think it's our responsibility, the fact that we've come from this country, we've grown up from it, it's part of who we are, it's part of our culture, it shapes who we are. The fact that you have to give back to it, and like I said earlier, we may not be able to go there and help out in person, but we can give a financial donation, give someone education who can shape their life and also make the society there a better place as well. And I think also to add on to that as well, it's very important to bring that reputation of Punjab back up. We were discussing how in history, where Punjab was the most educated state, where people would come from different backgrounds to come to understand what
even people came from China to study in Russia.
You imagine these things time as well. The British and Greeks came to study what the system was like, and they took these successful initiatives that we take for granted in Britain and UK. It came from Punjab, and the fact that now we're toiling with drugs and where we've been pushed so down to our knees, it's almost shameful. And I think it really hits home when if you speak to someone up from a Punjabi background and you ask them to talk about their culture, they're very hesitant. They will stutter. They will use fillers. They will use words to almost shy away and cower away. It's almost as they're shying away from accepting their Punjabi, or shying away or accepting from the fact that this is the heritage or this is where they come from. And I think it's things like that that really hit home and really inspire you to do well.
Yeah. Ashmit, you're absolutely right, because we cannot shy away because 90% of the Sikhs still live in the Punjab.
Of course.
You know, and this is not just a drama. This is a genuine effort, actually, an appeal to Sadh Sangat. And some of them may be thinking, what are these youngsters doing here? Sadh Sangat ji, the youngsters are also being developed. They're developing into future leaders. Kiran, you know that, okay, you guys are about 16, 17 year group, but amongst our volunteers, you have also met interns from global brand names, large companies, who are 23, 24. And their companies have told them that they got to be seen to be doing something for a charity. And they have come on board to Kalgitar Trust.
Yeah.
What are you learning from them?
It's inspiring because they're only a few years older than us, so they're like role models. And I think it's important that everyone has a role model to like learn from and be inspired from. Because if you're not inspired in your life, you'll live like a very mundane life.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring to see these interns because they're also putting forward like so much effort, and it's their own times. They don't have to do this. And
I like what you said. It's good to be inspired. And we got another video coming. Ishmita, can I come back to you after that, please? Sadh Sangat ji.
ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀ ਸਿੰਘ, ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਲਫ਼ਜ਼ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਈ ਖਿਆਲ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਇਹ ਖਿਆਲ ਸਿੱਖੀ, ਗੁਰਮਤ, ਬਾਣੀ, ਬਾਣੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਭ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਨੇ। ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਡੀ ਪਨੀਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਸਿਦਕ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜੀ ਰੱਖਣ, ਸਾਡੀ ਕੌਮ ਦਾ ਪੰਥ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰ ਕਰਨ, ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੰਥਲੀ ਇਨਕਮ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦਾ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਅੱਛੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ। ਬਹਰਹਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਅਕੈਡਮੀ ਮੰਡੇ ਡੋਨਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਹੈ। ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਗੈਟਿੰਗ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਐਂਡ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਰੀਅਲੀ ਕਮਿੰਗ ਆਊਟ ਐਜ਼ ਐਨ ਆਲਰਾਊਂਡਰ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਗੱਤਕਾ ਵੀ ਖੇਡਦਾ ਹੈ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਤਬਲਾ ਵੀ ਵਜਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਬਾਣੀ ਔਰ ਬਾਣੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ, ਅੱਛੀ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਵੀ ਬੋਲਦਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਹੋਣਹਾਰ ਹੈ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। My name is Gurpreet Singh. I read in 8th class. My father name is Kuldeep Singh. My mother name is Manjeet Kaur. And my favorite game is football, hockey and volleyball. My favorite food ਮੱਕੀ ਦੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਐਂਡ ਸਾਗ। ਇਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਖਾ ਕੇ ਬੜਾ ਸਵਾਦ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਬਲਾ ਵਜਾਉਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ। ਜਦੋਂ ਅਕੈਡਮੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਬਲਾ ਵਜਾਉਂਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਂ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਇਹ ਮੇਰਾ ਬੇਟਾ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਤਾ ਭੋਲੀ ਜੀ ਸਕੀਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਹਨ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਕੂਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਮਾਣ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਜੋ ਟੀਚਿੰਗ ਦੇਣੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਗੁਰ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਉਹ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਇਹ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਹੀ ਹੈ, ਅਕਾਲ ਅਕੈਡਮੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਹੈ। ਪੰਜਾਂ ਬਾਣੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਨਿਤਨੇਮ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਜੋ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਚਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਬੜਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਗਾਂਹ ਆਉਣ ਲਈ ਪ੍ਰੇਰਿਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਚੇ ਪੱਧਰ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ। ਇੱਕ ਗਰੀਬ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਸਕੂਲ ਤੱਕ ਹੀ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਭੇਜ ਸਕਦਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਪੱਧਰ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ, ਪਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੜਾ ਮਾਣ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਐਂਡ ਟੀਚਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ 'ਚ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੜਾ ਮਾਣ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਕਰਨਗੇ।
5 ਮਿੰਟ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਇਹਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਜੋ ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਆਪ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੇ।
ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਸ ਲਾਇਕ ਬਣ ਸਕਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਲੋੜਵੰਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਾਂ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਹੈ।
ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ। ਸੋ ਇੰਨੇ ਉੱਚੇ ਸੁੱਚੇ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਬੱਚਾ, ਮੇਰਾ ਇਹ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਇਸ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਅਗਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਇਸ ਦੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਮਾ ਅਗਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੁੱਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਬੱਚਾ, ਇੱਕ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਬੱਚਾ ਅੱਗੇ ਵੱਧ ਕੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ, ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰ, ਸਾਇੰਟਿਸਟ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਅੱਛਾ ਮੁਕਾਮ ਹਾਸਿਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸੋਚੋ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਲਾਇਕ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਲੋੜਵੰਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕੇ। ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਥ ਬੰਨ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰੋ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ, ਇਸ ਦੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਮਾ ਚੁੱਕੋ। ਸਪਾਂਸਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸਕਰੀਨ ਤੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੰਬਰਸ ਜਾਂ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਔਰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲਣਾ, ਨੇਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਣਾ ਹੈ, and your one good deed can change somebody's life.
ਵੈਲਕਮ ਬੈਕ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ। ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਣਾ, ਵੇਖੋ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਿੱਡਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਹੈ। ਇੱਕ ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀ ਦਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀ ਵੀ ਬਣ ਸਕਦਾ, ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਆ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤਨਖਾਹ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਾਫੀ ਗਰੀਬ ਆ, ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਚੰਗੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ। ਪਰ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਆਮ ਮੁਲਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਵਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤਨਖਾਹ ਵਾ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਚੰਗੀ ਆ, ਦੇ ਗੈਟ ਵੈਲ ਪੇਡ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਅੱਜ ਵੈਰੀ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਆਫਿਸਰ ਬਣੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ। ਸਿੰਗਾਪੁਰ, ਮਲੇਸ਼ੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਆਫਿਸਰਸ ਇਨ ਦ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰੀ ਆਫ ਡਿਫੈਂਸ, ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਆਫਿਸਰਸ ਇਨ ਦ ਸੈਂਟਰਲ ਬੈਂਕ। ਇੱਕ ਆਮ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜਾਣਦੀ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਭਾਈ ਦਇਆ ਸਿੰਘ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਮ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਵੀ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਗੀਤ ਵੀ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਗ੍ਰੰਥੀ ਸੀ। He's a chartered accountant. With all that value-based education in his life, he's actually given something back to society. He's earned as a chartered accountant, but he's gone to gurdwaras and done kirtan. So it's a win-win situation. So the effort of Akal Academies is visionary, Sat Sangat Ji. We will only see when you help sponsor a child, you educate a child, you will see the benefits you get, the moral and spiritual benefits. Ashmit, you were going to say something earlier when you went for the video.
That's good that the video. That's good that the video played, because it just goes to show that we have this expectation in society that if you're granthi, if you're religious, if you're very religious, you can't be academic, or you can't do both things. You're either a granthi or you're in an occupation where you're a doctor or accountant or whatever profession you're in. But I think the beauty about this educational scheme is that we're helping people from different backgrounds, from different whose parents have different occupations, to become what they want. And I think it's a beautiful thing that, imagine we're sitting in a Gurdwara where we have a doctor, we have an engineer, we have people with different occupations, and one of them goes, "Oh, I can do this seva because I can do this seva as a Sikh, but I can also live my life. I can do this Kirtan as well." Because often what we find is the people that work, they're not able to do the seva in Gurdwara, and the people that are able to do the seva in Gurdwara can't do the occupational work that we expect from society. And I think that's obviously the big bridge that often leads to this divide, or where our youth is going away from Sikhi. And that this education program almost merges them together. You can become religious, you can have these values, you can
but
become one's
as
country.
Veerji said some weeks ago that Sikh values are universal values.
Of course.
Everybody treasures them.
And I think to add on to that, how we were discussing that people from big global corporations, they're asking their interns, people that they employ, to go out and actually do charity work. The fact that they have the education, but they don't have the value-based education, they have to do that separately. But the fact that this the educate to save, it's allowing people, it's giving them the education and the quality-based education as well. So the fact that they have all of that rolled in one.
Thank you. Veerji, we're coming towards the end of the program. The appeal here almost looks like we are appealing to individual members of the Sadh Sangat. I think the appeal should also be to Sikh institutions, Sikh organizations, Sikh gurdwaras. Can you shape that appeal today to the Sadh Sangat, that why gurdwaras are important to come on board and other institutions?
Yeah, I think it's You've given me a very difficult task. As we just mentioned that all Sikh values are universal values. Na ko vary na hi begana, sagal sang humko banai. And charity has no religion, and charity always begins from home. So that is the message for all Sikh organizations, that कि अग अपने घर लगी होवे तो असी दूसरे दे घर नहीं बजाउण जाना. So we start, charity begins from home. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji's mission was very simple. You know, we have all these capitalist systems, socialist system, right wing, left wing, this and that. Guru Nanak Dev Ji made it so simple that to have this society as a wonderful society, thriving and a wonderful creation of God, loving, caring, you only need to contribute 10% of your honest earnings towards social welfare.
Vijay, we're coming to a real crunch now. I think in terms of, I really wanted you to say more, but I think we'll take that to the next program. The producer has just about to put a clip where I can thank the donors and the sponsors from last week.
That's the big thing.
Please जी. सब तो पहले खुश चेतन एंड लकी उन्होंने बच्चे ने स्पॉन्सर किया देखो. अजीत सिंह ठट्टर होना दा बहुत ज़्यादा धन्यवाद है जिन्होंने बच्चे स्पॉन्सर किए. सिमरनजीत कौर कलसी दा बहुत ज़्यादा धन्यवाद है तहे दिलों. गुरशरण कौर कलसी होना दा धन्यवाद है तहे दिलों. कुलविंदर कौर धामी होना दा तहे दिलों धन्यवाद. साध संगत जी, तुसी भी शायद कोई बच्चा पिछले वीक स्पॉन्सर किया होएगा. उस अजे भी एडमिन सिस्टम दे विच वा ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੈਰੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਸੋ ਉਹ ਅਗਲੀ ਵੀਕ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਾਂਗੇ. ਵੀਰ ਜੀ, sorry if you want to continue with what you were saying on the appeal to the wider South.
Definitely I think we need a big shift in our Sikh community. We need a big shift in our priorities from purely monetary considerations to value based considerations, and the values are well defined. They're not like any quotation by any scholar. Our values are gospel, and they are in Guru Granth Sahib, all documented, and those values are never going to go out of date. And it's not just a value, it's the blessing of Guru which goes with the value. I just quote one, we have Hukamnama from Guru Granth Sahib Ji every day. प्रभ की शरण सगल पै लाथे, दुख बिन से सुख पाया. सो की रह गया? प्रभ दी शरण विच आ गए, सगल पै लाथे, you are left with no fears. दुख बिन से सुख पाया, no sorrows left, and you are happy forever, contentment. And now this, just to implement this in our lives, we can have a research document on this line, one quotation. And we're talking about 1430 angs. Yeah. And the amount of time and emphasis our community need to give on Shabd Guru is not there at the moment.
Thank you, thank you really for those concluding remarks, and thank you really for this journey today. I think it will definitely appeal to Sadh Sangat. Sadh Sangat ji, ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਤਹਿ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਅਪੀਲ ਆ ਵੀ ਹੱਲਾ ਮਾਰੋ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ, ਪਿਛਲੇ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 10 ਬੱਚੇ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਹੋਏ ਸੀਗੇ. ਇਸ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਵੀ ਹੱਲਾ ਮਾਰੋ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਚਲੇ ਚੱਲੀਏ. ਤਾਂ ਅਗਲੇ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਮਿਲਾਂਗੇ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ. ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੁਣ ਤਹਿ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਈਏ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.